Brutal week for cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is down again. It lost, or has lost, 15% of its value last week. Reports last week that Goldman Sachs was ditching plans to open a cryptocurrency desk sent prices dropping like a stone. Some seasoned cryptocurrency investors will be used to these stomach-churning fluctuations. Others have lost it all as the market turned sour. Anna Stewart travelled to the north of England to hear one man's story.
Sean Russell was on top of the world. A month had passed and his $120,000 investment in Bitcoin had grown to nearly $500,000.
I think, there was one morning I woke up and I'd pretty much made about £12,000.
How did you feel?
Absolutely fantastic. Thinking, wow, that's mortgages paid, that's holidays that I've always dreamed of. Right there.
A British property developer based in Leeds, Russell had spent years studying the ins and outs of cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, it was a bit like a detective, doing a murder mystery plot. It's like, right.
It started with a few $100s. Then, last November, he decided to go all in, putting in his savings and tens of thousands of dollars from his business.
So look at how much it rocketed on that day. And I was literally...
That is extraordinary.
Russell says he rarely played the stock market, had little experience buying any financial products, and just like that, the price started dropping.
Suddenly, I realised I didn't have a button to just simply press and cash out. And then my brain was just like, well, look, you've got such a lot of money in there. Why on earth are you panicking? Look, it's going to be fine. Just leave it there.
You'll always have this expectation that the market will keep rising, since that has been happening so far. So then it will be very difficult to get out.
Behavioural economist Benedetto Di Martino says the human brain offers clues to how traders like Sean Russell may fuel a bubble. This is the MRI of a trader's brain in normal economic conditions, and this, the brain trading in a bubble. Those red hotspots, Di Martino says they're signs that a trader is buying into the hype. He says it's up to regulators to curb those impulses. Sean Russell chased his loss. When Bitcoin started dropping, he moved money into other digital currencies, like Ethereum and Ripple.
So as Bitcoin fell more and more, literally these other coins just started to drop until the entire market was just absolutely tanking.
He ended up losing 96% of his initial investment.
I mean, how did you deal with that?
Not very well. I would say more than devastating, probably, quite traumatic, really.
Despite the loss, Russell remains a believer. He's still invested in Bitcoin. Anna Stewart, CNN, Leeds.
96%. Now, that beats my falling and failing Snap stock, which I bought at the height and which you'll want to know is down around about 64%. But 96%. In a moment, a cryptocurrency expert will discuss exactly what the future is. But there is something about cryptocurrency, and we need to hear your thoughts. As Bitcoin drives the cryptocurrency market, do you think Bitcoin is the future of money, a fad, or in the words of Warren Buffett, rat poison? The results will be up live as throughout. CNN.com/join on the phone, tablet and computer. Cast the votes. We'll discuss the results as we get to the end in just a moment or two. Some of the in the cryptocurrency community remain undaunted. Famous Bitcoin bulls, the Winklevoss brothers, are introducing a new digital coin pegged to the US dollar. It's the stable coin designed to inject liquidity and stability into the market. Nolan Boyle is here, the Director of Research at CoinDesk. 96%.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But what is someone doing putting that much money into it at the top of a market? That was after months and months of a run-up and an incredible bull run, one of the longest and largest in history of retail investing. And when something goes up by several thousand% over such a short period of time, it should give most people caution. And I think when it reached those heights back in December, a lot of it was on news of the futures markets launching, as if this was going to propel the coin even further.
Right, and we had an example of this with Goldman Sachs just this week, having to clarify what they'd said about making a futures market in Bitcoin, which they basically have now put off to the future, saying they were with some wishy-washy words about studying it for the future.
They are offering it to certain customers now, so they are giving access to the futures contracts that are there on CME and CBOE. New York Stock Exchange is going to be launching one as well. So these instruments are there. But what ended up happening was, back in December, you had just people holding Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin. That's basically going long Bitcoin, hodling, as we say in the industry, holding Bitcoin and hoping the money goes, hoping the value, the exchange rate of the US dollar goes that high. When the futures markets were introduced, it actually was a really healthy injection of sobriety into the market because now people could short it. A lot of people who were looking at it closely didn't understand how it got that high. There's a lot of technology being developed around it. No one ever thinks that Bitcoin will reach the moon, as a lot of people say in the industry, just on speculation alone. It has to be on the fundamentals. It has to be because the thing is doing something that's so useful to humanity
But it's
that
not
it's rising
at the
there.
moment.
No,
It's
of
not.
course not. No, the endemic qualities are there. We have created digital property. We have made something that is uncounterfeitable and that is decentralized and not controlled by a political entity. These are
But you
important
want
qualities.
some control.
Well, do you? I mean, what happens if you go $10 trillion into debt, you print a ton of money, and we didn't build anything with it, right? This is what happened in America. We embraced quantitative easing for a very, very short period. If you look at Japan, who has embraced quantitative easing, they're addicted to it now. They can't get out of this. They're printing more and more and more money. So do you want control? Do we always want to be the victims of these bright ideas? Maybe not. We're coming back to a point
When your entire economy is resting upon it,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you want to have democracy requires that there be controls in place.
So if you go back to the 1800s, that far
Yeah.
back, before we had the monopoly on private money made by these central banks, we did have private currencies issued by certain banks. There were reasons why we didn't want it, and there was reasons why it drifted to political money. But that's changing. That's changing.
All right. So do you think Bitcoin is the future of money, a fad, or in the words of Warren Buffett, rat poison squared? Not cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin.
I would say the future of money and rat poison square. Warren Buffett, hold on. Warren Buffett invests in Wells Fargo, right? He has a ton of exposure to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is a bit of a rat. Bitcoin will kill it, so it is definitely rat poison, if Wells Fargo is your definition of a rat in banking.
Thank you very much indeed. Good to have you on the programme, as always.
Pleasure.
Coming up.